Jonathan. It's up to you. Totally up to you.
Sounds good.
I will introduce you at the beginning of the show, and then you can speak or not speak at your leisure.
I like that.
As the muse strikes you.
Whatever Microsoft Lamarr Wilson 2.0 wants.
Have a good show.
All right, here we go.
What's up, guys? Tony Hannity's here from LazyTechGuys.com, and I love the daily tech analysis from the folks at the Daily Tech News Show. If you enjoy your tech being analyzed by some of the best technology analysts and journalists from around the globe, support the show. Head over to patreon.com/acedetect. That's patreon.com/ACEDTECT. It's your turn, Tom.
This is the Daily Tech News for Wednesday, August 26th, 2015. I'm Tom Merritt. As he does most Wednesdays, Scott Johnson is on board to talk with us today. How is it going? Founder of the Frog Pants Network, Scott Johnson.
I am fantastic, fine, and great, and I totally missed you last Wednesday. We tried to do what we could without you, but your presence, being back on the air this week, has been good for everyone involved, especially the listeners.
Oh, dude, thank you. You and Mr. Jonathan Strickland knocked the ball out of the park, as they say in golf.
And I'm not going to go get it. He's in charge of ball snatching. He can go get that ball and bring it back.
Play it where it lies, Jonathin. No, thanks to Jonathan, too, for filling in last week. Joining us today, because we're going to be talking about YouTube gaming, Mr. Lamarr Wilson has popped in. How's it going, buddy?
Going great. Good to be here. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thanks for jumping in at the last minute here.
Let's talk some games later,
Yeah, we're going to talk YouTube gaming because Lamarr, obviously, a very popular YouTube streamer, so he's got thoughts from that creator point of view. Scott Johnson covering games and also streams on Twitch, so he's got that point of view. And my wife works for YouTube, so there you go.
Right.
Let's get into the headlines. Hey Siri, did you hear there's a new virtual assistant out there? Okay, Google, relax. It's just a pilot program in the Bay Area. Alexa, learn more about Facebook's M to-do list. Wired reports that Facebook has launched its own virtual private assistant called M, which uses artificial intelligence and real customer service trained people to complete tasks. I'm calling it hardly official intelligence. I'll work on that one. Users will tap a small button within Messenger and write a note to M. The AI will decode the natural language and send updates, but if something needs to be completed by a real person, there'll be staff to do that, and users won't know if a person or the AI helped them complete their request. M will not pull social data from your Facebook posts to help it complete tasks. At least that's true now. That's what they're saying.
Hey, Cortana. Don't worry. I really hope you get emails saying that everybody's things went off during this entire part of the show.
What do you think of Facebook M, though? Like, I think I like this idea of combining sort of the button from Amazon's tablet, where you can get a real person's help, or TaskRabbit, with Siri and Cortana. I think that's great.
I think it's cool, too, but I don't understand why they're shying away. Maybe it's just to avoid the backlash that always comes with these things, but shying away from using any of the social data that you either generate or people on your page are generating, or that you're creating along with the other.
Oh, I know. Yeah. It's because everyone would scream bloody murder about knowing too much about me. So that's
absolutely that's the case. But it's to me, as if I just look at it as objectively as I can and forget about that freak out, that seems kind of useful to have that data. And I'm a little surprised they're doing it without it. Maybe this
like all this stuff, right? It should be opt-in. You should be able to say, go ahead, it's okay to use this kind of data. Just give me control over it.
Yeah. Well, I'm for real, Cortana, don't worry. Windows 10 is on 75 million computers. That is in a month of release, folks. That's actually pretty impressive. This is according to Microsoft Windows and Devices Group Corporate VP Yusuf, and VP, is it Yusuf? I guess so. Engadget noted that Windows 8 required 6 months to sell 100 million units. Windows 10 has 6 times more app downloads from the App Store than Windows 8 ever had. So that is an impressive adoption rate, even by Microsoft Windows standards, and I think that's probably a pretty good deal. I'm hearing very spotty here and there. People aren't happy with their install or having issues. A few people might.
Well, yeah, I mean, we have two good friends, Veronica Belmont, Joey, the Joey Image, who have had some severe problems with Windows, and they're not alone. I do think the majority of the upgrades have gone well, and they're free, so that's going to encourage adoption. In fact, a friend of mine who is not particularly tech-savvy just texted me this morning. She's like, Microsoft keeps bugging me to upgrade to Windows 10. Should I do it? And I'm like, nah, you don't have to, but she has her laptop's less than a year old, so it'd probably be okay. I was like, you can go ahead. There's no problem with it.
Just a tiny follow-up. Did your notebook from Nerdtacular that you did the live upgrade to, is that still great?
Yeah, it's been fine. I'm about to rip Windows off of it and put Linux on it, but for now, yeah, I haven't had any trouble with it since.
There's a surprising number of people that I've talked to, just like random friends, even those who are like YouTubers, who use Windows frequently, and they don't even know there was Windows 10 out there. I wonder if there is still a disconnect of the marketing. Yeah, it's free, but and the bubble might have popped up at the bottom, but they just don't know. Like a shocking number of them I've had to tell. You have a new update that you can do on your computer, and they're like, oh, really? I wonder why that is. Is the marketing not as good as it?
I wonder if part of that is just that there's so many updates and new pieces of software, new devices, gadgets coming at us from every direction, that the days are gone when the major thing that you upgraded in your computing life was your operating system on your PC, and now it's just so much noise that they're just like, all right, I got phone updates, I got this update, I got that update. Looks like Echo connects to 5 new services today. Like, everyone's stoked about all these things happening all the time. Maybe Microsoft has to just be louder. Certainly they could do it, but that's very interesting that some people are just...
Yeah, back when it was on sale, it was an event.
Yeah.
Now that it was not only free, but staggered out, like not everybody could get it on the first day unless they knew how to go about it, it becomes less of a hyped-up deal. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Ars Technica reports that Verizon Vehicle, which was announced back in January, is now called Hum and is ready to be installed in any cart with an onboard diagnostic 2 port, the OBD2 port. A reader is one part of the device. It pulls diagnostic info through that port and then sends it to a clip-on speaker, which can then act as a modem and send that information on through the internet for analysis by Verizon's home servers. The Hum, as it is called, so weird, can interpret data about how your car is doing and also let you speak with mechanics and emergency services. So it's an OnStar-like thing. Costs $15 a month, so it's a lot cheaper. And although the hardware is free for the time being, rather than the $120 it's expected to normally sell for, that's all you got to pay. So you get, right now, you can get the hardware for free and get it for $15 a month. It sounds like a really good deal, so you don't have to go out and buy something that has OnStar in it. If you've got an older car, you don't have to have it installed. You can just make this happen.
2 things I'd say, just briefly. The hum sounds like the thing your car is doing you don't want it to do, and you take it anyway.
Yeah, it's making that hum.
Yeah. You hear that hum sound? It's weird. Then the other thing is, do mechanics who normally have access to that OBD2 port, that's the kind of their domain, or it has been in the past with these cars, do they just unplug that, plug their stuff in, hope you don't lose it? Okay.
Yeah, it's like a USB port, right?
I guess so. I don't know how. I just don't know what they're like. Will the guy at Jiffy Lube go, what the crap is this, and toss it?
Do they use the OBD at Jiffy Lube? I don't know.
Maybe not so much Jiffy Lube. That's maybe not an example. But whoever, any mechanic who's doing this kind of diagnostics, one would hope they'll have some information about this. And
I'm not sure that Verizon is the one that I thought would be best at this, so I'm curious to see how this service works, especially the concierge service and the emergency services part of it. But it's the right price and the right flexibility. I like things that are platform agnostic like that.
Yeah. There's another service that came out a year or two ago. I've actually found it on Facebook that you plug it to that OBD2, and I forget what it's called. Like, you pay one price for it, and it was able to kind of diagnose your phone. Excuse me, your car. Sorry, I'm tired here. And it would go to your phone. I can't think of the name of the app.
Yeah,
but it was like. You know what I'm talking about, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard of that, and I think there's a couple of them now. Like a few more people have jumped into that market to like make the diagnostics. I think what's interesting here is they're connecting it with a modem that's a speaker, and then also trying to provide that cloud service to it.
Yeah. Okay. Hopefully it'll tell you what the hum is in your car. The next web reports Rovio Entertainment. You guys know these folks as the fine who made Angry Birds and made a lot of money with Angry Birds. They are laying off 260 staff members. This is actually right on the heels of an announcement a week ago or so where they said they had incredible sales strength with Angry Birds 2, which is still also a little weird thing to say since there were so many other versions of Angry Birds between the first and when we saw the last. But anyway, CEO Pekka Rantala says the company tried to do too many things, that's a quote, and would now focus on its core business, that is games, media, and consumer products. When they say consumer products, I have a feeling they're talking about their plushie toys and their sort of marketing line.
Yeah.
The company said pretty much the same thing when it laid off 130 workers last October. So definitely seems like maybe this is a sign of grow way too fast, way too quickly to support a flash in the pan, absolutely stellar performing game out of nowhere on mobile, and in some ways put mobile on the map and for a lot of people. And now they're having to go, well, people don't want to flick Angry Birds for the rest of their lives. We need to be a little more realistic about what our projections are. Lamarr, you have any thoughts on this change at Rovio?
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. It's a very Zynga-like move. You know, they moved in too fast and they offered too much stuff. You know, and I think there's a movie coming out, and they just got into too many things. I think it's smart to pull back. It's unfortunate people have to lose their jobs because of that, because of mismanagement. But I always like when companies realize, you know, we are doing too many things. It's very Apple of them. You know, that's something even Apple had to realize with their retail, that they were doing too many things and they pull back. I wish more companies, hint Samsung, would do more things like this. Realize that you got too many products out there.
Yeah, it's hard for these mobile companies to get a second hit. Rovio has tried other non-Angry Birds games. They just haven't caught on. So that's always the trick. You have your Farmville or your Candy Crush or your Angry Birds. How do you follow that up? How do you keep people coming back?
It's a one-hit wonder problem, and I think they have what it takes to get out of it. This is probably a necessity, but we'll see how they do down the road.
They need to kill the desktop. I mean, the console apps immediately.
Yeah, they're
like
bad.
I don't want to play Angry Birds on my Xbox.
And also, there's no truth to the rumor that I just made up that anyone, when they are made redundant, is launched out of the building. That's right. Engadget reports that Royal Truck and Equipment will offer driverless trucks for highway construction sites under a U.S. Department of Transportation pilot program. You heard that right, driverless trucks. They're known as TMA for truck-mounted attenuator. So these are ATMA for automated truck-mounted attenuator. That's a barrier on the truck that can prevent casualties in a crash for workers and other drivers, but it doesn't provide the same amount of protection to the truck's operator. Hence, not having an operator becomes pretty attractive. The trucks can operate by GPS waypoint, remote control, or follow the leader, and will deploy in Florida by the end of 2015.
Yeah, I'd say this briefly about this. It seems to me all this talk about driverless cars and self-driving cars and who's going to be involved, it seemed to me that one of the big areas for this, and maybe even the initial area where you'd see the most adoption, would actually be in freight and other vehicle usage that aren't necessarily commuters or people just traveling one place to another or individuals. It would be companies trying to get products from here to there. And it seems like a place that you could more closely control the environment and what that car is going to do or that truck's going to do. And I'm not surprised to hear this or to think that this still might be the first kind of stuff we start seeing on at least in a broad way.
Yeah, if we got anybody out there who works in transportation, highway construction, who knows a little more about these TMAs, I'd be interested to know what the actual problem and perception is by people who work with them, and whether they think, will they cause more problems than they solve, or are they welcome?
Will they cut less close to me while they're trying to get into the intersection next to me than a person would? Because that scares me.
Well, I think these are the ones that are behind the cones, so hopefully not.
All right. Yeah. Phew, thank goodness. All the other stuff's coming too. 9 to 5. Google reports that YouTube's gaming service launched today. This is YouTube Gaming, not just their gaming service. It's on the web for everybody, so anybody on the web can use it. And in the UK and US, you can get Android and iOS work with it as well. The new destination combines archived gaming-related videos along with live streams, which is the biggest push with this. Streamers can also take advantage of the beta of the new live streaming dashboard. YouTube Gaming will show you featured content as well as subscriptions to YouTube Gaming content for you, and have your games favorited and find content about similar games and so on. We're going to talk about this a lot coming up in our main topic section, so everyone hang tight. It's going to be good.
Wired reports on a collaboration by the University of Nairobi, Columbia University, MIT, and design firm GroupShot to map out the informal bus system in Nairobi called Matatus. If you watched Sense8, there's a Matatu driver character in that series. The Digital Matatu project had students record almost 3,000 stops on more than 130 routes and have used the data to help city planners, Matatu drivers, and others find new routes and, of course, provide maps in paper and for phones. Digital Matatus is talking with 4 more cities, Kampala, Accra, Lusaka, and Maputo, about mapping their informal transit system. So Big problem is, how do you take something where the routes change based on what the driver wants to do, there's no formal system, and map it? They figured that part out. And then how do you distribute it so people can keep track of it? And they figured that part out. It's a pretty impressive project.
Yeah, I just like how digital matatu sounds as it rolls off the tongue.
Yeah.
The Verge is reporting Amazon has launched an Android app called Underground that collects free apps and games from across Amazon's App Store and do not charge for download or in-app purchases. This is a nice way to curate that sort of thing. Amazon has a deal with the app developers where it pays them on a per-minute usage model because the Amazon Underground cannot be downloaded via Google Play Store. You're going to have to visit the Amazon Underground webpage to get the link emailed to you or to them. And I'm telling you, this is a really cool idea. I like the idea of segmenting those out. I've even noticed lately Apple with iOS stuff in the App Store have said they put a whole section up that says, here are a bunch of great games that don't require freemium models or micropayments. And I just thought, whoa, it's a bit of a turn for them because they kind of promote the other side for a long time. And I think there's a real, I've said this for a while, my prediction is gamers are going to swing on mobile the other way for a while, start demanding more game experiences that are complete and are not tied to a bunch of micropayments or weird energy systems or buying gems to continue or any of that stuff. And I think this is maybe an additional sign of that overall.
Well, what's really interesting is that they're taking apps that do have in-app payments and putting them in the Amazon Underground and basically paying for the in-app payments for you.
Yeah.
So if you get it through Underground, Amazon pays the developer a per-minute charge, like Scott said, and you can have unlimited access to in-game purchases for free.
It's a weird way to supplement that. And
yeah.
I don't know if that'll catch on in a bigger way someplace else, but it's a great way for Amazon to push the tablets, so I don't see a downside to them.
We get a lot of great suggestions from folks on our subreddit, dailytechnewsshow.reddit.com. You've heard some of them already in this very show. Get in there and be one of those people. Get in there and vote. dailytechnewsshow.reddit.com. pben submitted the Tech Dirt story about Stanford computer science and legal lecturer Jonathan Mayer discovering that AT&T's free Wi-Fi connection at Dulles Airport near Washington, D.C. inserts ads from a third party into web pages it delivers, even if those web pages had no ads, like government websites, for instance. Neither the sign-on page or the terms of service refer to the third-party ads, but Mayer discovered that its provider is called Ragapa. And it's just something where you're not getting the actual content you requested. You're getting something added to it. Doesn't work on HTTPS, so if you do HTTPS everywhere, that's going to cut down on it. But really controversial even if you knew it was coming for a lot of people, especially in this day of ad blockers. We talked a little bit about this morning on the morning stream.
Yeah, we did. And the only other thing we didn't talk about this morning that I would add to this would be it doesn't seem fair to the site providers either. So if I'm going to a website and I have a certain expectation as a user, it's one thing to be bombarded with ads, and a lot of times you're going to just assume the site did it. But the site may not know you're being serviced that because they don't know what's happening in this Wi-Fi spot in the middle of an airport. So as far as they know, you're seeing what their site intends you to see. But if I'm getting pop-ups and overlays, I may just blame the site, and that affects their bottom line and their traffic and my attitude toward them. So the whole thing seems bad to me and doesn't help the case of let's have less ad blockers so that we quit losing so much ad revenue every year. If anything, this would make me want to get another ad blocker in place of the one I have now so it covers this crap. Lamarr, what do you think about that? Pretty gnarly.
Yeah, I was looking at the other side, just to do a devil's advocate thing. Like what can AT&T do? And it's if they're offering free Wi-Fi and this is not a good option. This to get all this backlash. What can they do to supplement their offering free Wi-Fi? That would be a good balance.
Charge. I don't know.
People like free. Yeah,
but just make it clear.
I agree with.
Give me the option at the splash page that says we will be inserting ads in the free version, or if you don't like that, pay us $5.
Yeah, it's the mystery of it that I don't like. It's them
I agree.
Inserting it in there and having you have either a poor experience or an experience you didn't expect, and then having the site providers, not even know that this is happening. That just feels like a lose-lose on everybody's side, except for AT&T. Alanchar sent in a TechCrunch report that Google Apps for Work users will get a feature that lets Gmail auto-populate their Google Calendar with ticket, flight, hotel, and restaurant information. That's the important one. Feature was made available on consumer products last year. The feature will be turned on by default on desktop and mobile for both iOS and Android, except for Google Apps for Government, where it will not be available. Why would that be, Tom? Why not?
Well, I guess government just doesn't want to allow it, or maybe there's definitely stricter data sharing rules in place. You asked me a question that I did not research the answer to, Scott.
Well,
so
not
I'm
only
just
that,
speculating. But
now that you've delayed me, or now that I've said that to you, and it caused some delay in my brain, I thought about it. Now that I think about it, maybe there's like code words, like you can't say, I don't know, TGI Fridays, because that's the code name for a new missile program or something. And there's probably some rules like that where you just can't.
But if you use Google Apps in your workplace and you liked having this feature on your Gmail before, now you can get it at work. Nice. And that is a look at the headlines. All right, folks, gaming.youtube.com. It's the big day. My wife works for YouTube, where YouTube takes on Twitch. Can it prevail over the juggernaut that is Twitch? Let me throw some stats down for you, Scott Johnson and Lamarr Wilson, so to set the table here. Twitch definitely dominates in live streaming gaming. There's no quibble about that. US-wise, according to Quantcast, they have 15.3 million unique users a month, 65.4 million globally, 1 billion page views monthly, and they're available on PS4 and Xbox. YouTube, according to Quantcast, has 193.5 million page views monthly. That's compared to Twitch's 15.3. YouTube's video views for the top 10 game channels, according to OpenSlate, is 2.2 billion views per month. Again, Twitch only gets 1 billion page views per month. We're just talking about the top 10 video views on YouTube versus Twitch. However, YouTube, at least its gaming streaming, not available on any console where you play games. So Twitch has the mind share, Twitch has the streamers, Twitch has the platforms. YouTube's coming in with just big old raw numbers.
Yeah, I mean, in the YouTube case, that's all going to change pretty quickly, in my opinion, as far as the gaming streaming goes. You'll start to see those apps show up in updates for all the major consoles. And there are, ways to send short clips up to YouTube, and there's other things you can do. But as far as a sustained streaming model where they can just sit there for an hour and play their game and watch a chat room, that doesn't really exist in any of those areas. But you cannot deny, Lamarr, just the sheer infrastructure that YouTube/Google has behind this thing, and why they are probably the only company positioned to do anything in this market, or at least to make a chip in what Twitch is already doing. Yet you still have this problem of perception and lots of dedication by many very popular streamers on Twitch. How do you talk those guys into coming over there? Is it purely a money deal, and they're going to have to just incentivize the heck out of them, or what are your thoughts from as a guy who spends a lot of time on YouTube? Where's your head with this?
Oh, absolutely, and I have a gaming rep. I'm increasingly adding gaming content to my channel. I've been doing that slowly since January, and it's been working great. So I have a couple points of view. First of all, I don't think YouTube has to beat Twitch. I think there's room for all, and I'll explain why in a second. The dedicated Twitch people, and I know who those top people are. I think they're going to do fine. They can use both. Like I don't think there's a need. I don't know if they can do both simultaneously, but I don't think there's a need to choose right now. You go where your audience is. The advantage YouTube has over Twitch is that right now I have I think I just hit 350,000 subscribers on YouTube. I have probably 100 followers on Twitch. On Twitch, I have to start over. I'm not known there, so I have to start. Who knows how long that could take? Some people who stream take months or years to grow. Here on YouTube, I can start streaming right now, and I have a built-in audience that will get to stream. A percentage of them will watch, but I already have a built-in thing that's taken care of. I don't have to worry about more marketing or sitting there while 3 people are watching me. So
you have a distinct advantage right now because
absolutely.
It's interesting on the Twitch side. They're kind of in a weird place because their archival system. They have VOD you can go look at after the fact on Twitch.tv, but they have this archive to YouTube feature, and they've had it for a very long time. So it's funny because they kind of use YouTube as their archive, what YouTube gamers are already using YouTube as their de facto place for videos, period.
Absolutely.
And so because they've got this other kind of foot over there, no matter how tenuous it may be, Twitch is at a disadvantage in that way because, you know, to mix the two, to say I'm interested in both what Lamarr is streaming live and I'm interested in what he's doing archivally, the best place to go might be this new service, simply because those two things are taken care of in the same place, and they're going to feature DVR functionality, which means if I came to your stream late, I can back up to 4 hours previous and see it from the beginning, just like you would if you came late to the Super Bowl and you wanted to start at the beginning. So some clear advantages from a technical standpoint. You think that's enough, though, for the perception to change and enough people to be interested in this as a new platform?
I mean, I think so. I think from a creator point of view, or even if you look at it from a viewer point of view, the viewer is not looking at my channel as YouTube gaming, and I think that's where we got to get clear. YouTube gaming, if you take out the streaming part, is a glorified search page. It really is. The app helps you narrow down, because I've been using the app for the last couple of months. It helps you narrow down gaming content. So if you go to my channel, it'll highlight just the gaming channel versus an Oreo challenge that I did, because it's not under gaming, and it helps filter those things out. So from the user point of view, there isn't a delineation between YouTube gaming and what I do already on YouTube. And, you know, the difference will be if they get a notification that says I'm streaming, and whether they happen to be there at the right time. And I think that's a good thing. I think that merge of them not having to subscribe to two different things or having to worry about two different services is going to be the big point of this from the audience point of view.
Yeah, in fact, I wonder if it wouldn't be in Amazon's interest, as the owner of Twitch, to throw some of their cloud storage up quickly and make an archival destination for Twitch. Because right now, if I'm like, well, all my stuff's getting stored to YouTube anyway, I might be a little more tempted to use that because it's all in one place now.
Well, that's interesting, because you'd think, I mean, I'm a little surprised Amazon didn't make this job one when they purchased Twitch, and maybe they are working on this and it's still to come, but you're talking about one of the biggest providers of S3 storage in the world. They provide
when you call it S3 storage, they're the only provider of S3 storage.
That kind of, you know, cache, that part of the sort of the cloud internet that powers so many websites, they're kind of chief operator. There's some other players, but they're really the big one. The fact that that's them and they don't have an archival solution that quits having one foot in the pool of Google all the time.
Well, that's the downside of Twitch being a subsidiary, where Amazon bought them and let them continue to operate, which everybody was worried, right? Oh, Amazon's going to mess it up. Amazon hasn't touched it. They'll let Twitch be Twitch. But that means that if Twitch wants to use Amazon services, Twitch still has to pay for them because they're on separate line items, even if it's a chargeback within the company, right?
Yeah. I don't know. It's just interesting to see what they'll do in response to this, because I already felt like they were not severing ties, but there's a lot less sort of, you got to opt in to YouTube archival stuff now, and it's just a little less noticeable in the settings on Twitch, and it's just not, they're not promoting that there's all this YouTube activity the way they used to.
And you also have this weird thing that if I went live on Twitch, I can set an automatic notification that pops up on all of my videos that says, hey, I'm live on Twitch. I wonder if Amazon will yank that pretty quickly, or YouTube will disable that notification, so you're not pushing traffic over to the competitor now.
Back away,
That's the other thing. And by the way, that's broken with me. There's this setting that does that automatic annotation every time you upload a video. I've turned that off and unconnected it months ago, and every video I put on YouTube, doesn't matter what it is, whatever I upload, I still get the annotation, even though there's no connective count or anything. So some of that stuff's even a little bit janky and broken. But what do you think about the idea that, all that stuff aside, the big concern when Twitch got acquired was, oh no, big corporate thing, they're gonna turn this from this great grassroots sort of gamer run thing into this overly corporate, way too many rules, people are gonna leave in droves, and it was this big stink over nothing. No one ever left, really. But now the concern is, well, YouTube gaming, that's great and all, but isn't YouTube already really hard about content and about people playing music or whatever it may be? How worried are you about that as a factor in this, or do you think that's all just as much fluff as it was last year when Twitch got bought?
I think you're going to see some backing down. I'm hearing things from a lot of other people who stream that streaming just tends to have different rules. That's one of the reasons Nintendo leaves Twitch alone. And I think Nintendo is one of the big players on YouTube that has set up the partner program to try to monetize. I think they're either going to back down from their position of trying to monetize things, people streaming Nintendo content, because they don't touch it on Twitch. I think they'll leave it alone on YouTube. And I think once the creators see that, I think they'll be fine. But you have to have that cooperation of those companies to just realize that this is marketing for your game. Back off. Let the promotion be the promotion. And I think a little thing like music is not I think that could be solved by having YouTube has catalogs of music that can be played. They could work with the record industry. I don't think that's a huge issue. The bigger issue would be Nintendo or even Xbox saying you can't use this title, you can't use this game to stream.
Yeah, and I imagine Google tried to make sure that was not going to happen before they launched this.
Yeah.
At least as much as possible, but who knows? Somebody might change their mind down the road, and we'll see what happens then. The more I listen to this, especially listening to Lamarr's experience using it in beta for a couple of months, I feel like this is not YouTube versus Twitch. This is YouTube figuring out how to make one of its subgenres more accessible. This is just a big filter for YouTube. YouTube's homepage is crap. You can't find anything there. And this is a way for you to go, you know what, I'm interested in gaming. Oh, wow, I can, I was looking at it on my Android tablet, and I was like, this is pretty good. I can just go and find Hearthstone, and it's like, here's some live streams, here's some archive play videos, here's some specials, and here's the Hearthstone trailer, etc. That was great. That is not something I've ever experienced on YouTube before, the ability to easily find content I wanted. So I think it's more about fixing that problem and maybe getting a few more people to live stream, which could bring live streaming forward a little more at YouTube, but I don't think it's going to hurt Twitch. I think Twitch will continue to be good at what Twitch is doing. Just like we can have multiple networks, covering sports, I think you can have multiple streaming platforms for video games.
It's interesting. I feel like what they've kind of done, the way you put it, Tom, really hit me. They've just made a category, and they've separated it in a way. It's like a library saying, all right, there's a whole section for creative writing now, and you can have some live creative writing lessons from college professors. It's like they've added a feature that helps support the section, but it's really just a big section.
Yeah, if it hadn't been for the live streaming component, this is a glorified filter, like Tom said. I mean, I could see them down the line making an app for beauty channels. Beauty channels are huge,
totally,
but it's hard to find content, and they can have
technology channels.
Yeah, which will never happen because they don't like technology channels. That's why I don't do it anymore. They're very anti that, which is weird. But it's almost that Facebookification of apps. They say, okay, the gaming app works. Maybe let's try beauty, let's try technology.
Well, Kids was the first one. They did a Kids app.
Oh, that's true.
And I think people misinterpreted that because it wasn't as good at narrowing down kid-friendly content as it probably should have been, at least right out of the gate. But it was that same attempt to say, let's pull that category out.
Yeah, they did.
And
that.
Music is another one.
Music's another one, and Netflix was successful in creating Netflix Kids and breaking that out in a way. They have a much smaller base of content to worry about, and it's not constantly being uploaded to every 5 seconds. But still, I think this is a really interesting way to look at it. Had not even considered this coming into the episode today, because in my head it's all about Twitch versus YouTube gaming and how they get
it's the good headline
market share, and maybe this isn't about winning that market share. They already own the archived gaming world market share. They have the PewDiePies and the Yogscasts and the freaking Markipliers of the world. They have the Lamarr Wilsons. They don't need necessarily Swifty and everybody else who's over on the Twitch side doing their thing, because they're doing their thing. And they're still sending a lot of their stuff over to YouTube anyway. In fact, YouTube is another place they try to stake a claim, not the other way around always. So perhaps the play for Google and for YouTube isn't to try to dominate live streaming of video games. It might just be to enhance what's already there, and that's probably what we're getting.
Yeah, and I think it's going to really bring out smaller people who, if they did a Mario Maker, review or gameplay, and I'm looking for Mario Maker, hey, I may find some people that are not necessarily the top people, who do it, and it filters out real nice. So I think discovery is going to be really good for these up-and-coming gamers. That's what I'm most excited about, because I don't have to be a gaming channel. I can just have a playlist of gaming, and it will still qualify to be put on YouTube Gaming, which is awesome.
Yeah, blowing my mind. I got all kinds of ideas now. I'm going to play Canasta, call it gaming.
Yeah.
be huge. No, I'm just kidding. Hey, Lamarr,
Yes, sir.
you don't have to stick around. I know you're a busy guy, and it was nice enough for you to jump in. So if you need to go ahead and take
Wow,
off.
just kick me out of here. Okay.
No, I'm not trying to kick you off at all. If you want to stay, you're more than welcome. But we're making you come back on the show on Friday for the whole thing, so I didn't want to impose.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Well, I guess I have to come back Friday. I will go ahead and head out. I do have a call to take in a few minutes.
All right, man. Thanks for chatting with us, though. Appreciate the insights.
Thanks for having me on.
Thanks,
Cheers.
man.
He knew about Friday. He's a funny guy.
Buddy.
All right, let's take a look at our pick of the day from Nick, who had never played Minecraft till about 5 hours before he sent us this email when he noticed an ad for Minecraft Windows 10 Edition Beta in the Windows 10 App Store and decided to download the trial. Ended up buying the game for $13 Australian. He says, if you're new to Minecraft and are wondering if you should jump in, I say jump in. It's a great indie game. It's not indie anymore, it's Microsoft. With lots of collecting, crafting, building, and some basic combat, but you probably already know that. It now is native Windows code, so there's no Java-based potential security flaws to worry about. It is missing some features of the legacy version, like mods and custom servers, but it's also in beta. I don't know, has your son played around with this new version of Minecraft for Windows 10 at all?
Yeah, so he messed with it a little bit. He ended up going back to his regular load, mainly because that's where all his friends and mods are and the server he runs is. So he wasn't as interested in jumping into a beta that, lets him do the kind of basic stuff, but it's not nearly as extendable as the current game is. It is interesting that people are still see this. I think this is an interesting perspective from Nick. They still see it as an indie game.
Yeah.
I think that's actually good for Microsoft. If they can keep curating this as a game that is moddable, that people can have kind of the experience they've always had with it, but maybe in a more stable Windows environment, that's only good for them. That's only good for players. But there are a lot of people who are concerned about it. I think the concern is maybe a little bit overblown. Also, I saw when I was messing around with YouTube Gaming today as much as I could, lots of people showing off this beta on streams, which I thought was interesting. I didn't expect that. So a lot of people testing out YouTube Gaming by showing Windows 10 edition of Minecraft.
Well, and it goes with what you were saying earlier about the 75 million installs. They're also jumping into that App Store more than they did in Windows 8 for whatever reason. So it's kind of interesting. Thanks for the pick, Nick.
Great.
Send your picks to feedback@dailytechnewsshow.com, and you can find my picks at dailytechnewsshow.com/picks. A couple more messages before we're out of here. You actually heard from Tony at the beginning of the show. He's the one who did our little intro today. He was listening to our discussion regarding 3D printing and scanning, and it reminded him of the long-lost hope of 3D printed instruments. Tony writes, as a classically trained musician, I've always wanted to see the youth of our world at least try their hand at the violin, cello, guitar, and others, but even the inexpensive machine-made instruments can be expensive for low-income families and schools. A buddy of mine forwarded me 2 videos on YouTube that show off a 3D printed cello and violin. Yes, I know at the moment these are uber expensive and goes against my initial argument, but I can see in the near future that we can scan any instrument we want with our phones, and after a week of printing, it'll be done. Maybe it'll get faster, too. He says, we'll have models out there that mimic a Stradivarius or possibly a trumpet. I hope cost goes down and anyone can print out instruments they want. What a lovely forecast, don't you think?
Yeah, this is a bit of a forecast indeed, and also one that I don't think is horribly unrealistic. I think it's already sort of happening. I mean, you're seeing it all over the place. You're seeing people make something as simple as, just simple models, but then they're making functioning handguns, and why not let's do it on the other side and build some of this sort of thing. So absolutely, dude, we're going to be 3D printing everything, fabricating our own stuff, or at least stuff that is highly usable and things that we think of now as something I've got to go to the store to get. That's all going to change. Why not musical instruments? Just imagine a world where the school itself is 3D printing the band's instruments for that year. That is not a far-fetched idea anymore.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. And then we have the right to forget to talk about the right to be forgotten for a while. I think we've covered it fairly well. However, Alan wrote in and was responding not only to our discussion of that here, but also to our discussion on cord killers about rolling out low bandwidth options to places. And Brian Brushwood on that show was saying, how much longer is that going to be a problem? We're going to transition to where high bandwidth will be more ubiquitous. Alan says, I know you like to think we're in a time of transition, and while I tend to agree, I also think that it's not unreasonable to consider that laws may have to be enacted to either help us through that transition or to help deal with the new world order. And I was like, that's a great perspective, is that when we're in a transition, whether we're talking about right to be forgotten or broadband or anything else, it's easy to say like, well, that problem's going to be solved soon, so let's ignore it. Meanwhile, a temporary law might actually help. Now, temporary laws are problematic because laws don't stay temporary. Once they're on the books, they tend to stick around forever. And I think that's the objection. But that's no reason to think that we shouldn't address it in some way, whether it's a law or some other way, or maybe a sunset law. So thanks for that perspective, Alan. Good stuff.
Yeah, you always need, there's baby steps to everything, man. So you gotta.
Yeah. Babies are just stomping on everything.
No.
And that's it for this show. Thank you, Scott Johnson. You can find the great works of Scott Johnson at frogpants.com. What do you got going on lately to talk about?
Oh, it's all about making that Kickstarter book that finished up at the end of July, and I am very busy trying to get that thing done. Lots of work going into that. So a lot of people have asked, Scott, I didn't get in on time, or I was between jobs, or I was out of the country, and I didn't hear about the Kickstarter. Can I still get the collection? This is my comic collection for 15 years of my webcomic at Extra Life, myextralife.com. And the answer is yes. When this is all said and done and we have fulfilled every order that we've got from the Kickstarter, we will have it on the store for anybody to buy and pick up at a very low and reasonable price. So if that's something you are interested in or want to follow any of the other stuff I have going, you can follow me over there at frogpants.com or Scott Johnson on Twitter.
Thank you to the 20% or so of you who support the show through Patreon, through PayPal, through buying things on the store. You guys make the show possible for everyone else, and I can't thank you enough. If you would like to support the show, if you get some value out of the show and you want to give some of that value back, go to dailytechnewsshow.com/support to find out how. If you can't, just thank a boss. Go up on Twitter, Facebook, or somewhere else and say, hey, to the people who support Daily Tech News Show, thank you for making it possible. Because I thank them every day, and they deserve a good pat in the back from everybody. Our email address is feedback@dailytechnewsshow.com. You can give us a call, 512-59-DAILY. That's 512-593-2459. Listen to the show live Monday through Friday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern at alphageekradio.com. And visit our website, dailytechnewsshow.com. We'll be back tomorrow with Justin Robert Young. Talk to you then.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network. Get more at frogpants.com.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.
Great show. What should we call it?
Good stuff. Give it a name.
I have so many
Name
suggestions.
that show.
How about Rovio lays off 260 angry nerds?
Woohoo!
Focus on the layoffs is kind of dark.
Hardly official intelligence.
Not bad.
I like this. When you can't beat 'em, comma, join M.
Ah.
Uh-huh.
I like the idea.
If you only knew the power of YouTube gaming.
Why is it the dark
YouTube-
side?
YouTube can play at this game.
Nice. That's pretty
bad.
good.
That's pretty good. YouTube got game.
Yeah. I think I've seen that.
I'm writing to M.
I'm writing to him. Moneypenny. Put the money.
Rovio makes angry humans.
All right.
I really don't want to name the show
No,
after
I know,
Rovio
we
layoffs. As fun
Yeah.
as these titles are. Am I an old man? Yes.
No. I think it's the right thing. We shouldn't ever make fun of people losing their jobs. That's not.
Hardly old man.
Verizon ho-hums your auto.
Verizon delivers a... Never mind. Got a hum there in that engine.
Oh, dear. Okay, I kind of think it might be YouTube can play at this game.
YouTube can play at this game? All right. I'm in.
YouTube.
YouTube can play at this game.
I mean, I think that's pretty great.
So what's Yusuf's last name? Microsoft Windows and Devices Group Corporate VP Yusuf what? Because it says here in the second article that it says, according to Microsoft Windows and Devices Group, Corporate VP Yusuf Engadget noted. His last
dear.
Engadget, right?
It's a typo.
That's what threw me off.
Sorry about that.
Catch it earlier, and then when I got there, I went, "Oh no, there's no way his last name is a Gadget."
That's why I told you to read it ahead, because I knew I'd screwed something up somehow.
I just missed it. I thought I got it. I read everything.
Yeah, and that was me. Because I switched that to get rid of passive voice, and when I switched it, I accidentally deleted Yusef's last name.
I like
Yusef Mehdi, Mehdi.
I like the idea that they might just all call him Yusef, and that's it. He's like Sting.
I like that 100 years in the future, we might all be named after our favorite tech reporting sites.
Yeah.
Like, I would like to be like Jenny Verge.
Period there.
Jenny Verge. Just go for Jenny Box. Jenny
Box. Yeah. That actually is a cool name I'd like to have right now.
Roger Tech Meme.
She's just Jenny from the Vox.
Mm-hmm.
And shut it down.
Used to be SB Nation. Now she's also Polygon and Verge.
Why am I going to be Scott C. Net? Still to be a C like period.
What would be really cool is if someone has the last name Podcaster, like Miller, or
Oh right, like it's a professional name.
Oh yeah, like a
Johnson means son of John.
Cast Pod. I don't know.
Cast Pod.
I don't know.
I laughed a mint right out of my mouth on that one.
Well, I'm Joseph's son, which is really son of Joseph, which is that guy that people.
And Wainwright means someone who builds wains.
Yeah.
Correctly. Right? They do it correctly.
And Rufus is a guy who roofs us, but is a doofus. I don't know. I'm done. I'm done. My brain is somewhere else today. This is far, far away.
Another part of LA.
Yep. That's pretty much true. This is your brain on 11 days of in-laws.
Why was, ooh, that sounds awful. I have a wedding Saturday that's kind of like that. I don't want to go.
Yeah.
Tom, why was Brian Brushwood calling you Judas last night?
Oh, because I was the one who turned against him, I guess. I mean, what happened was he sent an email saying he was leaving on a trip, but he would have an 8-hour layover in LAX. Did anyone want to get dinner?
Yeah.
Now, he did include the important information that the trip was tomorrow, which is now today. However, there was a tone that sort of indicated dinner tonight. And so all of us he had emailed were like, yes, great, we're in, 6 o'clock, see you there. At 4 o'clock this afternoon, I jumped into that email and looked at it and said, oh, his flight's tomorrow, because he'd included his flight information. Boy, I'm glad I looked at this, but I was the only one. And everyone else who said they were coming had actually gone and showed up at the restaurant. So I jumped in my car and joined them. I think that's why I'm Judas.
Oh, all right.
That's so complicated. I'm so confused. So
basically,
a bunch of people ate dinner at a restaurant at an airport without Brian.
Well, not at an airport, but ate at a restaurant last night that we all thought we were going to be meeting Brian at, but most of us didn't read the email correctly, and so we all ate in Brian's honor. And we left. We set a place for him.
I saw the photo. He held it up to the camera. That was pretty funny. Now I understand what happened.
And so today Brian is all alone. Is that the...
No, Brian's, I think 2 of us, maybe 3 of us, are going to go meet him tonight.
Got it. Okay.
Now that he's actually coming.
Going to like Kuala Lumpur or something, right? Like some faraway land?
Yes. That's not a real place, Scott.
No, what was the name? It was
something... It's Kuala Lumpur.
Was that it?
I'm just messing. Yeah. He's going to Kuala. Yeah, he calls me yesterday morning as like, hey, so I might be going to Kuala Lumpur. I'm like, who says that?
Brian.
Yeah, Brian.
He's doing in his act there, I guess, yeah?
I think so, yeah.
Wait, isn't that where you went last time for that TV show thing?
Yeah, I think he went to Indonesia. But I don't know if he went to Kuala Lumpur.
Indonesia, definitely. When he still had chat work.
Indonesia, Pepto-Bismol.
Good idea, actually. That's good advice.
If you're not from there. I mean, if you're from there, it's great.
Sure.
But anytime you're traveling, you should maybe consider some kind of...
In my mind, there's like a little counter that dings every time I think we're going to get an email. It just went ding.
And how many times do we actually get the email?
Very, very few. But I feel like Indonesian food has been impugned.
And how many Indonesians don't agree?
Ding!
I don't really know what Indonesian food is. Like what's their signature dish?
Hold on. I think I have an answer, but I don't want to be wrong and sound like a dummy.
That's when you get the email, right? It's
Yes.
not when you impugn mildly Indonesian food. It's when you say the Indonesian main dish is saffron rice, and then someone writes in and is like, oh, saffron rice is actually considered an insult in Indonesia.
Well, according to the Pedia of Wiki, the cuisine varies greatly by region. Sumatran cuisine has Middle Eastern and Indian influences, featuring curried meat and vegetables, while Javanese cuisine is mostly indigenous with some hint of Chinese influence. I'm trying to look for dishes.
That's what happens when you're a trading country.
Yeah. You get influenced. I do know. Goreng is like mee goreng, like they serve at the place in the farmers market.
Oh, okay.
So it's
I
sort
know
of like
I must have
satay.
had some kind of
Sambal.
Indonesian dish at some point.
Yeah. So some of the popular dishes that originated in Indonesia are now showing up in Singaporean cuisine, which is why the Singaporean place at the market made me think. That's what, now it makes sense. But it's basically like a lot of nasi, steamed rice, and then meat. I don't know. It's like every other meat, some carbs, some spices. It's a meal.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, and now I'm really hungry.
Ooh, I haven't eaten.
Wait, like at all?
A little. I had some breakfast, but I haven't eaten lunch. I'm starving.
It's later where you are, too.
Yeah, it's like 3:30 almost. I should probably eat.
You should eat.
I think I'm going to eat. Are you guys going? You guys going to have a meeting? That'll be fun. And I'll go eat. How about that?
That's a good idea.
Excellent. Good
like
plan.
Good show, everyone.
Thanks, Scott.
Thanks, Scott.
Yeah, that was great. And
Go eat.
if you need me, you know where to find me.
You'll be eating
On the internet.
on his new YouTube food channel.
Yeah. Called Scott Eats Things from Costco.
I'm going to start. Okay, so Theater Monkey has been encouraging me to do a YouTube, in my YouTube videos that I've been doing, to do a food one. He's like, you do food and drink.
Yeah.
You know, do some nice scotches and, you know, whatever food, blah, 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 blah. So I've been trying to think of a good name that encompasses food and drink. I want to try this out. Tom puts things in his mouth.
Nope.
Yeah, it's going to be great because it's about drinks and food. So I don't limit myself to one or the other. And I think it's a great title. So
I think I can't wait to see what happens.
it's good SEO, apparently. I checked on the site. Comes up that phrase comes up very highly in search
Right
engine
away.
rankings.
How about Tom Tries Things?
But that leaves me room to grow.
Yeah.
I'll give you that.
Yeah. And it could start out with food, and it could grow.
Yeah, it could be trapeze at some
Yeah.
point.
I think that's like a whole great web series. Tom Tries Things.
So far, Tinvex says love it, and Haterade says yup. Don't know if that's to me. Ooh, Who's the Duck suggests what's in Tom's mouth. I like that better. Actually, it could start every video with me like, that was an 18-year-old scotch.
Oh, man.
Yabs has got one that I'm not even going to say.
Ooh, wait. Go into the chat. Oh, wait. I know why I was not hearing from chat is because when I had to restart the computer, I never restarted Colloquy. I'm sorry, chat. I'm sorry. I wondered why it was so quiet. Oh, man. It's the hunger. I am really hungry now.
All right. Yeah, you and Scott. What's up with you guys?
Gotta go
I'm
eat.
just about done here.
That actually could be a great title for a food show. I'm just about done here. Let's talk about it.
I'm just about done here. That's actually good. I like that. I'm just about done here. It's a good Friday show.
Yep. That's a good Friday show.
I'm just about done here. But before I go, let me
one
eat
more
this
thing to
pie.
say. Yep. Oh, you just said pie. Now I'm really hungry. Gee willikers.
You know, people have the right to say pie, okay?
You said it again.
I think I've successfully published this show. So
Good job.
we're gonna say this is a show where we discuss gaming. Hopefully it shows up in the YouTube gaming.
I guess we'll find out.
See you, folks.